ICE is more than a rogue agency. It is a manifestation of the abuse of power.
On February 6th, at the Interfaith Breakfast in New York City, Mayor Zohran Mamdani picked up a pen and signed a document that could change the relationship between America's biggest city and federal immigration enforcement forever. ICE will not enter New York City property without a judicial warrant. Within hours, the Department of Homeland Security releases numbers: 7,113 criminal detainers, 148 homicides, 260 sexual offenses. This is not just policy. This is a collision between a federal agency doing its job and a mayor who believes that job has become abusive. You absolutely must watch this to the end, because what Mamdani signed, why he signed it, and what happens next will determine the future of sanctuary cities across America. If you are new to this channel, subscribe right away and hit the bell icon. Well, let me explain what Mamdani actually signed. Executive Order 13. 5 core provisions. The first one is the most controversial. Provision 1. Judicial warrant requirement. ICE agents cannot enter any New York City property without a warrant signed by a judge. Not an administrative warrant signed by ICE itself, a judicial warrant. This means schools, shelters, hospitals, even parking lots. If ICE shows up without that judicial warrant, city employees are trained to say no. The Department of Homeland Security had released a leaked memo telling agents they could use administrative warrants. Mamdani is saying those warrants are invalid in New York City. Provision 2. Privacy protections. City agencies cannot share data with federal immigration authorities. The Trump administration has been trying to use Medicaid data, Social Security records, even child care applications to target undocumented immigrants. Mamdani's order says if you apply for city services, that information stays with the city. 14-day deadline for every agency to appoint a privacy officer. Provision 3. 90-day audit. The NYPD, Department of Correction, Probation, Social Services, all must audit their policies on cooperating with ICE. Public reporting required. Compliance is not optional, Mamdani said. Provision 4. Crisis Response Committee. Coordinates across agencies when ICE escalates operations. Whole of government response. Provision 5. Employee training. Every city worker gets Know Your Rights training. What to do when ICE shows up. What to say. What not to say. And then Mamdani did something else. He distributed 32,000 multilingual guides in 10 languages: English, Spanish, Mandarin, French, Bangla, Russian, Arabic, Creole, Urdu, and even in Yiddish. The guides explain your right to remain silent, your right to demand a judicial warrant, your right to an attorney. Mamdani told faith leaders, if you run out, we will print more. The same day, the Department of Homeland Security fired back. Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin released a statement. 7,113 criminal illegal aliens in New York custody with active detainers. 148 homicides. 717 assaults. 260 sexual predatory offenses. 152 weapons offenses. Mamdani will make New Yorkers less safe as a direct result of this policy. Tom Homan, border czar, said, "We are asking their cops to work with our cops to remove national security threats and public safety threats." Now, I need to stop for a second. Please, write in the comments, do you think Mamdani is protecting civil rights or protecting criminals? Because here is where it gets complicated. Is ICE doing its job, enforcing federal law? Or has ICE become what Mamdani calls a manifestation of the abuse of power? Can both be true at the same time? Because the Department of Homeland Security says those 7,000 detainers include murderers, rapists, gang members, and Mamdani says families are being torn apart at routine check-ins. Who do you believe? And does believing one side mean the other side is lying? Or is the truth somewhere in between? ICE agents are already testing Mamdani's executive order. They show up at city property. They present administrative warrants. City employees say, "Show me a judicial warrant signed by a judge." ICE says, "We have federal authority." City employees say, "That warrant is invalid in New York City." Standoffs, legal battles, federal supremacy versus 10th Amendment. Trump threatened to cut federal funding to sanctuary cities. February 1st deadline passed. No action taken. Mamdani publicly noted this. Was it a bluff? Or is the cut coming later? Minneapolis has felt like a city under siege for weeks. Mayor Jacob Frey told the U.S. Conference of Mayors, "We are on the front line. If we do not speak up, your city is next." Jersey City's mayor told ICE to get out and never come back. San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria says, "This is front of mind for mayors from all political persuasions and all corners of this country." The 2026 elections will be fought over this. Abolish ICE versus Reform ICE. Progressive Democrats versus Moderate Democrats. Mamdani has become a national symbol. But the bigger question is this. Can a city executive order actually stop federal agents from doing their job? Can Mamdani's signature on a piece of paper protect immigrants when ICE has guns, badges, and the backing of the White House? Or is this executive order more symbolic than substantive? A message to New Yorkers that their mayor will fight, even if he cannot win. And what about those 7,000 detainers? Are they all murderers and rapists? Or are some of them people whose only crime was being in New York City without papers? How do we balance public safety with civil rights? How do we enforce immigration law without tearing families apart? How do we protect communities without creating a climate of fear? These are not easy questions, and anyone who tells you they have simple answers is lying to you. Mamdani ended his speech at the Interfaith Breakfast with these words. "Let this city of strangers set an example for how to make the sorrows of others our own. One path, defiance through compassion." DHS ended their statement with these words. Secretary Noem and ICE leadership are urgently calling on Mamdani to release criminals before they are released back onto the streets to victimize more Americans. Two visions of America. Two definitions of safety. Two ideas of justice. Which one is right? That is for you to decide. If you want to follow this story, subscribe now and click the bell icon. Every development will be covered here. And share this video. This conversation needs to continue. Because whether you agree with Mamdani or DHS, one thing is certain. This fight is just beginning. And those videos on screen? They explain so much about what you just watched. Worth your time. See you on the next one.